Hello humans, I am the Black Cat and welcome to Movie Review Monday. Today we take a look at Blackout. The Blackout was released in 2009, directed by Robert David Sanders, starring Barbara Sanders as Elizabeth Pierce, Joseph Dunn as Daniel Pierce, Ian Malcolm as Dylan Pierce, and Anthony Tedesco as Freddie Appleton. The Blackout is centered around the tenants of an apartment building on Christmas Eve, with the main focus on the Pierce family. Meanwhile, the Earth is being taken over by strange monsters that come up from underground. There's no real explanation about the monsters or where they come from. It's mostly about the characters and what happens with them, so we as the audience knows as much as they do. Visually, it was very standard horror lighting, camera angles and so on. However, it wasn't very well executed. A lot of the shots were out of focus, the framing was off in a lot of close-ups when people were talking, the action sequences were very blurry and hard to follow, so all in all, visually it wasn't great. Although there was some use of practical makeup, there was also a lot of use of CGI, and it was very obvious. For some reason they used practical effects for like guts and blood on some people, but then they used CGI for blood splatter, and the monsters' tails were very clearly CGI. I can understand if they wanted the monsters' tails to move independently and couldn't work out how to make it look good with practical effects, that's fine. But blood splatter? It just felt lazy, like they found a blood splatter green screen on YouTube and just threw it in. For my favourite shot, it's a bit odd because I like this shot of the boy in the hall, but I mostly liked it because it made me start thinking of a different story. I actually started making up a story in my head, so I'm not sure if that's a plus for this movie, the fact that it couldn't hold my attention, but that's the only shot I could think of that stood out for me. The concept itself is good. The idea of strangers being trapped in this apartment building and having to work together to fight a common enemy, but that's a concept that's been done before and has been done a lot more effectively. The camera work wasn't good, having lots of shots out of focus was really distracting, a lot of the dialogue was drowned out by the music. Not sure if that was necessarily a bad thing. The characters were very two-dimensional. They tried to introduce a lot of characters within a short time that sometimes can lead to characters not having a lot of depth. But the fact that the so-called parents didn't seem overly concerned about their missing daughter was really frustrating. I'm not a mother myself, but I would imagine if a child was missing in a building that was being overrun by monsters, a parent's first priority would be to find their child, even if they weren't monsters and the child was missing, the parents' first priority would be to find the child. But these two parents seem to almost forget about their daughter for the majority of the movie. I think the best character in the movie was Freddie. He wasn't overly annoying, and for the most part he was straight to the point, and he had a bit more to his character than the other characters did. The monsters themselves looked good for the most part, but there were moments when it was obvious that it was a guy in a suit, maybe because they showed too much of the creatures. Not everyone likes having monsters hidden in the dark in movies, but sometimes it's better from a visual standpoint not to show too much, and I think that this is one of those cases. So the question is, would I watch it again? No, I don't believe I would. It was a rather frustrating movie, both from a technical standpoint as well as from a story standpoint. But anyway, that's all for Movie Review Monday for this week. Let me know what you think of this movie if you've seen it. I hope you have a happy new year, and I'll catch you next time. Bye!